So welcome back to another episode of the Arse All YouTube channel and podcast. And in today's episode, we are actually going over the match yesterday with Arsenal and Crystal Palace. The 1-0 victory, of course, was a very rugged one, and one that maybe the old Arsenal, I'd say over the past 8 years or so, wouldn't have won. And it's great to see. But we are going to talk about obviously what happened in the match, you know, the goal, the penalty, the red cards, all the drama and that sort of thing. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, and let's dive right in. First of all, we are going to start off with Martin Odegaard's penalty. And I was very glad to see this happen. Not only because he scored, but because he's on my FPL team. Now, for those who play it, of course, a penalty is a very nervy one when you've got the player taking it. If he misses, it's like minus points. If he scores, obviously, it's all good. But the funny thing is, Saka normally takes it for Arsenal, and there was a bit of talk with them too. Apparently in the match, Odegaard asked him, he said yes. Saka has missed the past two, I believe. The one most notably against West Ham last season, which cost us a lot of points in the title race. And I think pre-season as well, he did miss. But you know, penalties, it's always sort of hit and miss. But then again, Odegaard was so cold, like confident. He knew where he was going, sent the keeper the wrong way, all of that sort of stuff. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it. It got me 11 points on FPL. And for a midfielder, this time of the season, you need those points. But anyway, the 1-0 was enough to secure the victory. Didn't look like it straight away, I'll be honest. It was a very rugged one. Crystal Palace was throwing everything and the kitchen sink at us, especially when we went down to 10 men. Tomiyasu was first booked for time wasting. Yes, it was a yellow card. The second yellow card, it was very soft. But when you look at it from certain angles, he did have a little tug of his shirt, Jordan Ayew. But what's so annoying as well, Jordan Ayew did more to warrant 2 yellow cards, and he didn't get a second booking for the takedown on Saka. And he's the one that cost us a man being sent off. So it's like there needs to be consistency from the ref, you know. And this ref, I'll be honest, I don't like to mock refs because they got a very hard job. I'll be real. But this geezer looked like he's been bullied at school. And it's like the geezers who bullied him supported Arsenal. And he was like, nah, I'm sending you off. But I guess with the new rules enforced, like the time wasting, the arguing, the dissent, it's all yellow cards. There's no sort of time to sort of be like, you know, polite about it. If you're going to do it, you're getting a yellow card. And it is what it is, you know. If we lost or drew the match, yes, it would have been a bigger issue with a lot of us fans and the manager, especially the manager. Shout out to Super Mick Arteta. But at the same time, we won. I can't fault the team. Like we definitely dug our heels in. The manager got the subs spot on, like literally clear a cell, spot on. He brought on the likes of Zinchenko towards the end, Jorginho to calm the place down, get nice on the ball, silky passing, playing the right pass, you know, not panicking on the ball. And there were some tired legs out there with the likes of Saka, looks very tired towards the end. Odegaard run his socks off. Who else? Kivior come on as well, sort of robust. There was a lot of physicality in that match. And I feel the right players come on. Gabriel, you know, we kept Havertz on as well. He's a very physical player, and we'll talk about him in a little bit too, because I was very impressed, very impressed. He didn't do much in terms of specifically on the ball, in terms of touches, goals and that sort of thing. He did his job, and we'll talk about that in a bit. More to talk about as well, I'd say the realization that Gabriel might not be a starter for Arsenal. And it breaks my heart just because of the partnership he's built up with Saliba last year. Amazing. When Saliba got injured, all went to pot. But again, FPL. I've got Gabriel, bruh. And I know a lot of my mates do. Now, what I've seen is it could be the teams that are playing a low block where they're sitting deep, waiting to press on a counter. And to my knowledge, it makes sense because you're playing essentially a back three with Thomas Partey tucking in from midfield. And it's a better transition on the ball and off the ball. So I do get it, but with the likes of a United playing, I don't know, a Tottenham, a Chelsea, these sort of teams, especially when they're at home and attacking you, it's going to be interesting to see what Gabriel does if he starts and whatever else. Now, Arteta has gone on to say as well, he is going to be playing a lot of games. So it's more tactical and it's more rotational. Now, last season, we wouldn't have fathomed that. We wouldn't have had the squad depth and we wouldn't have been able to rotate just like that, you know, with the likes of Gabriel dropping in on the bench. It was good to see Zinchenko back in. He didn't have that long, let's be real. He had about 5 minutes or so, I think. And he sort of calmed the place down a bit with Jorginho. Rice was bossing it. Rice, man, honestly, what a bloody geezer. Telling the likes of Odegaard off. Like, I love that. Now, he's the club captain, Odegaard, but you need these leaders to question everything and everyone in a sense of, listen, we need to win by any means. Like, I don't need to be worrying about pissing people off. I need to tell you how it is, and that's that. And that was great. Saliba, amazing tackle on Jordan Ayew. I thought it was a pen first. Saw the replay, great tackle. Ben White, very solid as always. I was very sort of surprised with Partey and how he lasted at right back. He was very energetic, kept up with Eze, and he did his job. He did his job indeed. Now, Saka wasn't Saka that we're used to. Away, he's different to at home. You know, I know that. But I'll be real, Mitchell did keep him quiet. You know, it is what it is. It's an away game. Everyone's not fully fit yet. And also, Martinelli didn't have the best of games, I'll be real. Havertz, we'll talk about him. He wasn't involved in the game as, say, an Odegaard, a Declan Rice, but he has that free-flowing role where Xhaka had, you know, but he's very physical. He held up the ball. He linked up the play. He did what he needed to do. He wasn't a 10-star rating, but he was pivotal to what we were doing in that game. The transitions, you know, the breaking up of play where he needed to. And also you have to think, a lot of the time he's a decoy. Like, he's a decoy for the likes of Rice to come in, pick up a spot, pick up a pass, Odegaard to drop in and that sort of thing. Eddie Nketiah had a good match. He won us the pen. He was very lively. His decision making wasn't the best. Like, when he shot, a lot of the times he shouldn't have. Let's have it right. But he's doing his job. And with Jesus out, it's one of them things we have to be grateful. I was surprised to not see Trossard on at all. That was pretty surprising. But with the physicality of the game, the way it went, the red card, you know, it was one of those things where we had to sacrifice a substitution of that caliber. And I think Arteta got the subs spot on, like, very well done, because, you know, we had a match of the United game last season away, and it was a very close game. He went all out attack, and then we ended up losing it 3-1 when it wasn't a 3-1 game. Was it 3-1? I think it was 3-1. And it wasn't a 3-1 game. And this one could have easily sort of went that way. Now, Palace and United obviously are different teams and different caliber, but it looks like he's now knowing who to bring on. He's got his players in that needs to do a job where they needed to. This was a sort of Rob Holding special. Yeah. And it's surprising he didn't come on, but we've upgraded, man. I know it's bad to say. I do love Rob Holding in terms of how he is as a person in the dressing room and that sort of thing. But ability-wise, we've stepped up. We have stepped up. Tierney, I was surprised again we didn't see him, you know. Gabriel come on before him. And I would have thought Tierney would have come on. It looks like he might be out the door. Maybe. I would be sad to see. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Now, other things I did notice. Rice looks like, to me, the missing piece to the puzzle. Now, everyone's saying it. Everyone's been saying it. But in terms of that physicality, that fight he's showing against a very physical Crystal Palace team, Xhaka had it. I won't lie to you. But at the same time, Rice has the discipline to know when to fight, when to drop off, when to link up play, when to sit, when to run, you know, when to tell people where to go and whatever else. So, like, Rice looks like the player we needed and that we need. And I'm glad to see Timber, obviously him being out for 6 to 7 months, apparently with his ACL, is a very upsetting thing. And it was a nice touch from the Arsenal players to hold up his shirt before the match. But, you know, who knows if we're going to get players in before the deadline just because of that injury. And it's such a big blow, such a big blow. But I think overall, we can be happy with Arsenal's win at Selhurst Park. It would have been, I'd say, about 3 or 4 seasons ago where we just capitulated in that situation. We would have had Mustafi on and all of these players and David Luiz or whatever, and they would have just gave away a penalty out of panic. And yeah, it looks like the team now has that experience and know how to just dig your heels in, you know, you just get the ball out, don't play these silly passes, don't do these silly turns in the box and whatever else. And I absolutely love it. Now, here's what Arteta had to say on the win itself. And he went on to say he loved it. He absolutely loved it. A real difficult place to come. We played how he wanted to, or they wanted to, 11v11. We dominated the game. We created enough chances. We missed 2 very huge chances that normally we put away, but we never gave up. We continued the way we wanted to continue. Eddie earned us the right to go ahead with his action. We scored the penalty and we had to play half an hour with 10 men, which is a tremendous achievement in itself, which is obviously a conflict that we didn't prepare for, which he goes on to say. We had to adapt, and I think the players worked fantastically because I don't think we gave anything away. The subs were great. The way they came out, the concentration, the focus on how they helped the team and changed the team's momentum in many occasions of the game. So I'm really happy. On the second card for Tomiyasu, I prefer not to make comments because for me, it's so obvious. Super Mick. On Gabriel not starting and whether it's due to speculation. Nothing at all. It's all about games and that we are expecting how we are going to defend and attack and what I believe is the best thing. He's played in both games and helped us to win both games for different reasons. He was really good today. He absolutely dominated the box when he came on, and he's going to play a lot of games. That's the decision sometimes. Okay, on Declan Rice's performance, I think it was great. He bossed the midfield and dominated the game. He was very influential, both attacking and defending. Today, he played a different position to last week because of what we expected from Palace and what we needed today. And I think he was really good. He very much was. On whether Martin Odegaard is the new penalty taker, I have no clue. It's about leadership of players and they felt it was the right thing to do. For me, I'm fine. They have to make those decisions on the pitch. I was surprised like everybody else, but he scored the goal, which is the important thing, and we won the game. So that just shows there was no like backroom talk about it. It was just on the pitch there and then. Odegaard was like, look, can I have it, mate? Saka's like, of course, mate, you can have it. And he gave it to him. So, you know, there's that. Now we are going to go over the stats of the game as well. And we're going to head over to Sky Sports. The match stats, obviously, it was 1-0 to us. Possession-wise, we had 53.1% of possession, which pretty surprising considering like the last half hour. So there's that. Total shots was pretty even, 14 apiece. On target, we had 3, they had 2. Off target, we had 7, they had 5. Block shots, which, you know, was 4 to us and 7 to them. Passing accuracy was 86.3 to us and 86.4. Clear cut chances, us 2, them 1. Corners was 8 to us, which is nuts, and 1 to them. We had 2 offside, they had none. Tackle percentage, we had 50%, they had 71.4. Can't lie, they were very good in terms of cutting stuff out. Aerial duels, we had 48.1, they had 51.9. 2 saves apiece. Fouls committed, 10 to us, 14 to them. 10 fouls, 1 to them, and 13 to us. Yellow cards, 1 for us, 2 for them. That don't make sense because there was 2 yellow cards to make 1 red. But anyway, and obviously we had 1 red card. A very robust win from Arsenal and a lot of good signs from new players or players adapting to a new system, and hopefully more to come in that regard. And also hopefully another signing or 2. Who knows? Another thing, we didn't see Raya, which wasn't really that surprising. I mean, I didn't think he was going to come in straight away. That sort of battle between him and Ramsdale might have to be a video all on its own, but I do still see Ramsdale as the number 1. Raya could be playing his part in the Champions League, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and that sort of thing. And it's nice to have that squad depth. Matt Turner's gone as well, so that just suggests that Raya's going to be definitely playing at some point. But yeah, I was pretty happy with Ramsdale. He did the saves he needed to. He sort of commanded the box as well. Wasn't afraid to sort of like come out for the ball. There was a nervy bit in the game, but we saw it out. Overall, a very good performance from Arsenal. Very harsh on the red card. And he's going to be suspended for the next game. So does like Zinchenko come in at left back and play that inverted role? Or does Gabriel come in? We play a normal back four again. There's so many questions that we might have for the next game alone. But this game, for now, I'm happy with the 3 points. A very tough place to go. Let me know your thoughts down below as well. Did we deserve the win? Did we deserve the red card? And also, what things did you take away from this game? Are you happy with Martin Odegaard's penalty? Saka not taking it? Anything you can think of, leave that down below. And until the next episode, take care.